Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on when you are watching this or listening to this. I am Dr. Jacob Larson, and you're listening to my Draft Pages. Draft Pages is a show predominantly on the business of writing. The problem is I have no business talking about business because I'm a writer and I'm trying to figure out how to make money. So that's kind of the point of this project. I don't have all the answers. I'm simply sharing my process, what I've learned along the way, and maybe that can help you out. That's the whole plan. Speaking of which, picking up from last week's episode, I was thinking I was thinking about taking on a really big writing project for the year. I'd originally thought I wanted to write several books. I wanted to write several books, and I'd started to figure them out, and I was was kind of pacing myself out for the year. I wanted to write this like English handbook and a book of poetry, which I've been working on for a while, and then end the year focusing on my first novel. That was the original plan. Then, as I continued to research, I was reading a couple different books, one of which is a series of books by Michelle Kulp, where she brings up this idea of writing a book a month, right? She had found I forget what the source was. She had found a blog post that was talking about how many books a writer needed to average $100,000 in royalties. In other words, how much do you have to write so that you can, maybe make a living off of this, assuming that you're making a living off of publishing books? Well, the number was 28 books. And so she, looking at what she had done at the time, this was just before 2020, I think. She was looking at what she had done. She had published some books in the past, but nothing was really currently selling. They were kind of older and out of date. And so she's like, I know what I need to do. I need to write a book a month for a year. And so she started this very ambitious project. And by the end of that year, she was able to make over $3,000 a month on the royalties from her books. But her strategy wasn't just writing anything. Her strategy was more specific and nuanced than write a book. She wasn't writing fiction. She was writing nonfiction, and she was writing fairly short books, about 100 pages. And she was also building on topics that she was developing. She was writing about writing. She was writing about women in business and some similar fields, so that as people would finish one book, they'd move on to another, and they kind of fed each other a little bit. But yeah, the way she puts it, by the end of that first year, she was able to match her Social Security income. And it took less than 28 books, about 12 books, but then there's different varieties. And so she's like, maybe it took that many products, but not necessarily that many books, depending on how you count out the paperback and the digital copies and whatever. And I found her through Kindle Unlimited, reading those books. And, I decided I'm going to start writing a book in a month. Hopefully, I can figure out how to do this so I can maintain this consistently for a long time. But I started. After last week's podcast, I started writing a book. I announced it last week. The book is currently called, working title is Co-Teaching with Robots, Being Human in the AI-Assisted Classroom. So I'm a teacher with a background in e-learning. That's what my doctorate's in. And it made sense. It's a hot topic right now, especially with what happened over the weekend with it's not called Deep Sky, Deep something, I forget, the new AI out of China. There's a lot of things going on with AI right now, and I did a little bit of preliminary keyword research, and some people are making a whole lot of money doing this. So It is something I've been focusing on a lot for the past couple of years. Uh, I train um, people here at my college about the use of AI. We had a big meeting. I'm talking about AI with my English department yesterday. So it's been on my mind. It's been on my mind, so I started writing the book. I'd love to tell you how it's going. I am just shy of 7,000 words. I'm like maybe 6,500 right now. I Going into this year, I thought that I might write 500 words a day to kind of build up that that sort of endurance to get a lot done. Hopefully, getting up to 1,000 or maybe 1,500 words a day, because that's about what NaNoWriMo is, and that would be incredibly prolific, right? Now, some people like Stephen King reportedly, it's like 2,000 words a day. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I wasn't jumping straight out to reach that sort of bar, but I thought, okay, 500. But for this project, I know I need to write a little bit faster than that. To write about 100-page book, I'm looking at around 20,000 words, give or take, depending on how it's formatted and spaced out and things like that. And so to do that in a month, I'm thinking, yeah, I need to write about 1,000 words a day. That gives me a little bit of buffer afterwards. And so I've been trying to do about that. I started writing on Friday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, and I'm just under 7,000 words. So I'm on track. I'm doing okay. And I'm motivated. It's exciting. It feels like I've been doing a bit of a brain dump. Like this is something I've been kind of developing ideas and lessons on for the past 2 years. So I came up with a loose outline, kind of with the thesis for each of the chapters I'm writing, and maybe a story to tell. And as I sit down to write, I really am telling a lot of stories about my experience over the past couple of years and winding it into what I'm doing in my classroom and what might be working, what might not be working. So I'm finding my voice. I'm finding my voice on this project, and I think it's working. One of the things I'm doing that I've really enjoyed, as I write in Microsoft Word, there's a read aloud feature. And the read aloud feature is basically there's an AI voice that'll read it, whatever your text is to you. And so I'm able to write, then press play, step back, and listen to the AI voice read back to me. And it sounds like an audiobook, which gets me really excited. I try to write with a very accessible style instead of something super egg-headed and academic. I want the topic to be accessible, so a third grade teacher can pick it up and not feel like she's back in college again. She can listen to it and not have to work real hard, because it's accessible. So I've enjoyed listening to it, and which is an AI feature, an accessibility feature. And I've really enjoyed doing that. I was doing that again this morning. I was writing some chapters, working on that, and that's been really exciting. So not every day I felt super motivated, but I've been able to sit down and maybe 1 or 2 writing sessions a day, get some workout, and I feel like it's coming together. I can see it coming together. I was in a meeting, was it yesterday or the day before, where one of my colleagues, he was talking about a book that he was reading. He was listening to the audiobook, and it's one that I did some market research on, and that book was making a lot of money about AI. And I was like, that's cool. That sounds great. I went to try and check it out from our cloud library, but he already had it, which is why I couldn't check it out. So I found another book, and it was this very, well, it's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure it was read by AI, which is, maybe on the nose. Maybe it's ironic. I don't know. But I was listening to this book, and it really just is a laundry list of everything that AI can do, and it just keeps repeating itself about these different AI topics. And I was really disheartened by this whole thing because I'm like, wow, this is exactly the kind of book I do not want to write. So I knew I needed to express that. So I open up Word and I start writing. And basically, I started writing the introduction to the book. And I'd like to share some of that with you now. It's not that that sort of book couldn't be helpful for someone. It's just like that is the opposite of what I was trying to write. And so I started writing my introduction, and it goes something like this. This book will not be a laundry list of everything that AI is going to make possible. It will not be a list of which apps or products you should use. It would probably be outdated by the time it was printed anyway. It will not be a sales pitch to get on the bandwagon or be left behind. It is a pep talk to keep humanity at the center of the classroom, even as AI assists teachers in their roles. Yes, AI will be able to do many things to lighten the load for teachers. It could take roll, administer assessments, analyze data, provide warnings and interventions, etc. It is impossible right now to imagine everything that AI will make possible. But regardless of these advancements and changes, the purpose of education is and will still be to teach people. And as people teaching people, we can't lose sight of the power of a talented and trained teacher. So I started to write that chapter out, and I shared some things. And then after that, I was like, ooh, they're talking a lot about AGI, which is basically getting generative AI to the point to where it thinks like a person. And so I started writing what's going to be the last chapter of the book. And let me share a little bit of that with you as well. Oops, here we go. It wants me to log in again. I'm trying to find the right tone that isn't all doom and gloom about talking about this, because the core of the book is AI doesn't have to force teachers out of the classroom. It frees us up to focus on being humans and to providing the sort of genuine humanity that students need that AI will never be able to do. So we can offload all sorts of tasks to the AI. That frees us up to be the humans in the classroom. So anyway, that's kind of one of my big ideas, but I'm trying to find the right tone for how do I talk about this right now. I want that last chapter to be called "Where Do We Go From Here?" I thought of a number of different ways. They all sounded really dire and like it's the end of the world. This is currently what I wrote this morning, just before I started recording this. One of the benchmarks that many AI developers are trying to achieve is artificial general intelligence, AGI. When we think of AI that thinks for itself, we are basically thinking of AGI. Here's Microsoft Copilot's explanation of AGI, and then he gives some definitions. Let's imagine back to me. Let's imagine for a second what AGI could mean for education. Because AGI could reason and analyze like a human, accomplishing this feat could mean using this technology to scale or offload who is completing certain tasks. If this sounds similar to what AI is doing now, that's true. The difference is that instead of completing tasks it has been trained to complete, AGI could be more versatile. Again, in theory, it should be able to do what a human could do, save for the obvious human soft skills we've discussed throughout this book. What could that look like? Well, AGI could help plan customized learning plans for students based on their needs and interests. It could provide tutoring and tutoring in and outside the classroom. It could help to develop curriculum and resources. It could translate and adapt content to be more accessible to students. It can make a teacher's life easier by handling administrative and clerical tasks. It could provide personalized professional development for teachers and students. It could provide services for special education students. It can mediate collaboration. The list goes on and on. The rapid advancement of AI is bringing the theoretical concept of AGI into view. It might even exist at this moment without our knowing it. Even though it sparks the imagination as what is possible, no amount of technology will replace the role of human soft skills. We may become used to communicating with AI chatbots. We may even form parasocial relationships with them. If we could develop a balance with how to use AI today, then we establish a precedent for how to continue that relationship into the future. And then it goes on for a little bit. I'm able to reference both Wall-E and Big Hero 6, which I was real happy about. I thought that was kind of funny. But, I'm finding my voice, explaining this technical concept, using all the appropriate buzzwords, but also hopefully, maybe you agree, maybe you don't, making it accessible. I share a lot of stories about me and about, my experiences over the past couple of years, but I'm finding a voice. And it makes me feel like I really can, in the next couple of weeks, get a final draft of this thing done. Which has brought at me thinking, okay, what are the next steps? If I really can, or you can, write about 1,000 words a day, you can write a 100-page book in a month and still have a little bit of room to, as a buffer. So I've started to think, okay, well, if I can have a rough draft by the end of this month, and by the end of this month, I don't mean January, I mean, 4 weeks from the time I started it. If I can do that, then when do I actually want to publish it? Do I want to publish it in, the end of February, just as I finish it? Or do I want to then, try to find some readers, someone to look it over and tell me what they think about it and make sure I'm accurate with my information, because I am giving technical information as part of it. And so that makes me, understand, like, okay, if I do more than one of these, what does that mean for the down the line? And so I'm starting to think through that, and I'm curious what you think. How long, if someone is writing a book a month, how long should they wait before they publish it? Obviously, I'm moving quick, and hopefully there's no mistakes, but it's possible. It's possible. So I just wonder, how fast is too fast? And if I can handle it, should I? So I'm curious what you think. Hopefully, this isn't about me, but I'm just trying to be an example for what's possible. I read someone had an idea. They went out and they did it, and I'm trying to do it myself. So if you think you might be interested in writing a nonfiction book in a month, to start creating a back catalog so that you can maybe work your way up to replacing your income to being a full-time writer. This is one of the business strategies to do that. And so I'm testing it out, and I'm sharing. I'm trying to be transparent about the whole process so that you can see what this looks like. And obviously I'm forming a bit of a momentum wave. So I think I do this for a couple more weeks. I'll have a draft that I'm probably happy with. And then I think I'm going to ask some friends to take a look over it. And then hopefully maybe the end of March, I'll have it ready to go. But that also means I'm going to be starting the next book while I'm polishing up the first book. Because I want to do more than one of these. And as long as I can keep this current momentum, I think I can. Now, kind of anticipating burnout a little bit, and this is something that's very real. Maybe you've experienced it as well. What I'm currently thinking is I want to write in trilogies. I want to write in trilogies, series of books that are on similar topics but aren't exactly the same. And then I have a book that is off topic. It's something very different, so it's a bit of a palate cleanser. And then maybe start a second trilogy and kind of cycle through that. So in theory, if I'm writing about 1,000 words a day, and I'm able to write, 20 plus days in a month, I'm able to write about a book a month is the goal. So I plan out the first 3 books. They're all kind of related and build on each other. The 4th book is a standalone book, and then the 5th book starts a new trilogy, and so on. So currently the plan is a series about AI and education. That 4th book is going to be that poetry book that I was planning. on writing, and that sticks it out in about the summer after I've completed. I think I'll be done by then, and it'll be nice to focus on that after 3 months of writing nonfiction. I think I haven't decided what that third, or is it, sorry, that next trilogy is going to be though. But by then I'll have an idea. There'll be 2 books out, and I'll start to have an idea of what the response might be, so that can help me figure some things out. Michelle Kulp, she recommends kind of planning out your year so you're not constantly having to stop to figure out what comes next. And I'm kind of doing that. I have some ideas for several book trilogies, but we'll see. We'll see how people respond, and maybe it'll work out. All right, this was a bit of a brain dump, but I think that's what these episodes are going to be a little like. Like I said at the outset, I have no business talking about the business of writing, but I'm trying to learn it, and I think it's helpful to hear from someone in the throes of it, someone who's in the middle of it, instead of someone who's just been through it and they're on the other side and they have all the answers, but they're not feeling it anymore. So I'm trying to share what it's like as we go. This is my log, captain's log, for me trying to go through this process. And so, like as the name suggests, these are draft pages. It's not done. I'm working on it. I shared a little bit of my writing with you today, but hopefully, most importantly, it inspires you. Inspires you to go out and maybe go write something. Go figure out what's a topic you could spend hours upon hours writing about, and maybe even putting out into the world. I hope that you find this inspirational. If you like this, please let other people know. I would love to help as many people as possible, because I think that's it's the only way that this is going to work, is to get it out in front of people. I am still writing my Substack each week. It's jacoblauritzen.substack.com, JACOBLAURITZEN.substack.com. I have my YouTube channel, Draft Pages. If you search Draft Pages, it should pop up. And then I'm archiving everything on my personal website, jacoblauritzen.com. I know we're on Spotify. Hopefully I can get the podcast out to some other podcast platforms soon. I should probably work on that, get that all sorted out. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. And I hope the best for you as you go out and write. And please, tell me what you've been working on. What's going? Are you going to try a project like this too? All right. Thanks again. See you in the next video. Bye.